Is it possible to simplify all physics into one simple theory? The simplification theory is a new way to understand the whole universe. Hi, my name is Nima Amin and I'm a software engineer. For many years I was working on a personal project and I was trying to understand physics, but nowadays physics are getting so complicated with all heavy mathematics and I can't understand it. It's boring. It's not easy to simulate with computers. So I started to simplify all physics into one single theory. I call it the simplification theory. I've been working on this theory for 10 years and now I think I'm in a position that I can share it with you. I'm looking for other people that are willing to help. Together we can develop this physics. But I have a simple request. Please watch these videos with an open mind. It can challenge your beliefs about physics, but at the end it can give you a clear picture about how our universe works. So let's get started. Look at this tree. It turns sunlight into life. When you look closer into the leaf, into the cells, the DNA, the molecules, you realize something amazing. Everything you see, all this beauty and complexity, is built from one simple thing underneath. So at the core of this theory, there is just one particle, the escentron. Each escentron has its own mass and it can pull other particles. It also has a radius and it can push others when they get too close. Gravity is basically the love between escentrons. All particles in the universe love each other with no exception. So why doesn't the universe just collapse? Or think about this. When we walk on Earth, we feel this gravity with our whole weight. Yet we don't just sink in. Because every escentron, just like Earth, has its own radius. And when anything gets closer than that radius, it runs into a strong repulsive force. It's almost like each escentron occupies its own little space, and it really doesn't want to share that space with anyone else. That private space is part of its identity. It's as if there is a rule written into the universe saying only one escentron can exist in any single point. Okay, let's bring some math. I started with the classical definition of the gravitational field. Then I just added one extra factor to turn it into a repulsive field. At one specific point, this factor becomes zero. We call that point the neutral radius, and I show it with the letter Chi. As we can see, at large distances, this factor is almost 1, so we still have the same gravitational field. But when we get closer than the neutral radius, the field flips direction and becomes repulsive. Okay, let's see what we got here. We can rewrite it like this, and then we call the product of the mass and the neutral radius the pulse. So now we have two fields, the gravitational field and the repulsive field. Each of them has its own separate energy. The sum of the gravitational, repulsive, and kinetic energies of an escentron is always constant. So an escentron has three forms of energy. If more of the energy is stored in the pulse, we get an electron. So electrons are basically escentrons with a bigger radius. When we move more of the energy into mass, we get a proton. The neutral radius of a proton is very small. That's why protons can get very close to each other. But when the pressure inside the nucleus gets too high, they start to push each other away. In this picture, that's basically how the strong and weak nuclear forces show up. And finally, when we move most of the energy into motion, we get a photon. In the next video, I'll show you how we can transform the Escentron. Hit subscribe.